record button on. It
Okay.
needs,
Wait,
and
wait,
let
wait,
me
wait.
hit the, let me hit the, let me hit the note button. So I'm taking notes.
My list
Okay.
with little pieces of paper everywhere, right?
So we're saying a
I
Memphis
like this.
color, a Memphis
12
color,
pages. Memphis,
12
Memphis.
pages.
Okay,
So
basically
let me
Memphis
say
focus
the
with
whole thing. So the
King,
first
Ida B.
one
Wells.
would be we thought about Dr. King, sanitation workers, um, Ida B. Wells,
Okay.
right? And Cleo Silvers. Now I don't know if you know who Cleo Silver is.
No, and I
Well,
haven't taught them.
and
Yeah.
so then we kind of, and hearing about the Jewett adding Fifth Jubilee, said, okay, cool. That's the cultural side in terms of Memphis and the mounds. And that was the first time I'd heard that, and I don't know about that. So that is really intriguing to me.
About Chucalissa, about the Native American mounds.
Yes.
Yes. Now that could be a whole separate study, particularly of indigenous people on its own, because the University of Memphis actually owns the museum and we maintain Chucalissa. So if we were to do the mounds, I would actually suggest that if we continue this relationship through Ripen, Tamisha, that could be the focus for my group for next semester, because I could have them in class and then we could physically go to the mounds free. Like we own that space. So I could take the students there absolutely free.
Okay.
So what if, so, and we would think, so an 8-page coloring book.
Yes. Yes.
So the internal would be newsprint, right? Because it's an actual coloring book,
Mm-hmm.
and that it would focus, say, on four. So choose the four, and so one page is the coloring part, one page is the explanation,
Got you.
who that is, and then that would be newsprint quality paper because it's a coloring book.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Mm-hmm.
the outside would be either, I don't know if the correct term is vellum, but a
Mm-hmm.
heavier weight, but it would be color, so that you would have an 8-page plus cover
Okay.
coloring book, and that could be the first of a series, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so we were talking about December 10th, and I'm thinking while I'm talking, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so then so then in the future, three other, but now we can say fourth.
So we got two. She wanted to do two. So what can be the other one? The other one, and this you
By
wanted.
December 10th.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's
because I have enough
got 10
students to where we
students.
could probably break it
We
down
do
into two,
two.
especially with 8-page, with the small, we could do that. Yes.
Right.
So the other one was Black women workers. A second one on, or the third one would be on the Black freedom movement in general. The third would be on Black workers in general, right? And so Black women workers would be, and many of these are bringing forward unsung heroes,
And
folks who are not generally projected out there,
right.
who are contributors at the ground level of.
So, okay. So now that I have a better understanding of your vision, and then Tamisha, we can go back and talk about how we can take their vision and then what I can say, I feel comfortable being able to say the students have the background, because it was a literature course, which of course embodies history. I can't teach them history, but I'm not the historian, but I know how all the biocritical work deals with that.
Okay.
So because it is, now that I understand the focus was, the idea of labor, right? Of working class individuals, that gives me, for next semester, a platform to build my class, saying, let me look at the work that speaks to that, so we could go to that. But for this semester, I think, and this is what I want to pitch to you all, the overview of Memphis as kind of a place these particular labor movements occurred, I think we can do. So if we do the first book, going back to your point, where it's kind of like an introduction to And for me, it's kind of typical Memphis history, but it's also atypical because a lot of people don't know everything, right? So, you know, because it's a number, it really baffles me, the number of students who don't understand that Dr. King came here not to just be assassinated, that he came here several times. Like,
And that he did
who
not
grew up here
organize
did
it.
not know that.
And he didn't organize it. The workers were already organized.
Right. So what we could do is begin to, and this is the way I'm seeing it. With this group or these two groups, because I think I have enough to like for the 10, I'm looking at this as a very good, strong draft that then can be added to with the next groups. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Especially because of the time crunch. So if the first one is Memphis, right? So we can begin with, and what's really interesting, if we begin with King and the sanitation, no, we even go flip it. We're gonna begin with the sanitation
Sanitation
workers.
workers, right.
That's right.
Let's flip it. We're gonna
That's
put
right.
the sanitation workers as the part there. Now, what I've taught them is, you know, they've read King's letter to Birmingham jail. They know about King's speeches, right? So this gives them a chance, and all this information is both in our library, our archives, all this kind of thing. It gives them a chance to utilize those sources to put together something very quickly that also refers to that, but it flips it to where it's about, you know, the sanitation workers, right? And even when I think about, because what I would love to see is if we flip the story, because you all have a very focused, and I love the idea of focusing on the work that's been involved, right? That's been done by the people who, just like in Birmingham, the people who actually walked, the people who were sitting in the church with King. I love that focus. Is if we think about, so now I got to think about how to reposition this, but I can do this pretty quickly. If I can think about within the 8 to 12 pages, because I think that's very doable, where we flip the idea or invert the idea of the people who, the faces of the movement to the people who did so. So the sanitation workers, I can help Tamisha to help my students pull that out, because they're going to say, well, we didn't study that per se, but they'll study a connection to it, right? And that would be King and King coming. When it comes to Memphis as a site of I mean, it's still very much working class. I'm thinking about Ida B. Wells, right, as an intro. So Ida B. Wells,
And I like that because she's a journalist, and you got to get the message out, you know, as a marketer, as someone that you see.
And you and I talked about that, right?
Yeah,
and
right.
Ida B. Wells, like I taught them, they read a red record. A red record became her journalistic pamphlet that spurred people to, you know, understand what was really going on. So what we could do is, as I was sharing with Tamisha, like with Ida B. Wells, it's almost like, and I think she would be a good setup in this first book for the Black women
Working
and
class.
labor and organizing book. You see what I'm saying? So I think if we see the first book as being a place where we introduce the individuals who would then, are the individuals and are the movements that would then be expounded upon in the second coloring books, that gives us a draft to work from. Do y'all see where I'm going with that?
Can I add something?
Yes.
Connect 2 things to this. One is I keep mentioning this sister Cleo.
Yeah, I need to look at, I don't know. I need to
Cleo
look up.
Silver is a sister who is from Memphis.
I need to look, I need to make sure I look at the recording.
Is a former Black Panther.
Okay.
Former Young Lord, right? Who is a labor activist and a healthcare worker who was one of the ones who in New York City in the 1970, they took over Lincoln Hospital for the name of the people. It was so terrible.
But see, the thing about it is they can't do her justice if they don't know her. They got to see you on.
Her husband is still there. She just passed. She had come back to Memphis.
Interesting.
Right? And that's where she just passed like 2 months ago.
So I would have to like do my
So-
research and figure out and work. Actually, I could work with our historians. That's a wonderful story. I didn't know that. So
So I
You gotta put on.
we could get you to her husband, right? And so even if this first one is in her honor, and then the second one, because I could see
Yeah, they
you
don't have enough
centering.
time to give her justice.
I know I'm not a teacher, but hold on. So what I'm hearing, because you talked about Ida B. Wells, so
Yeah.
that's the found going back, right?
But
And then the second one in the future could do more depth to Cleo, which gives more time for the research to be done, right? The other, again, I'm not a teacher, but there was some stuff that has been like shown to, like, and maybe this is for the future. You may not have time for this.
mhm.
The sanitation workers were folks from there.
Yes.
Who are these students? Are these students based in any of these students based in Memphis?
Yes, many of them are. Yes. They're not just, yeah, yes.
So do their parents or their grandparents, might they have been sanitation workers?
Well, see, a lot of that
They know
information,
about it?
yeah, like we have the records, we have the stories, like we know now
Mhm.
the students in my class probably not, but as far as having, firsthand accounts, we have actually one of our former VPs, her father was a sanitation worker. So they have access to, that's just Memphis history raining
Sure.
around 101.
Sure.
So that's not a problem to get their transcripts or whatever. What I'm trying to get to, and I'm hearing this, and I know that and Tamisha, I'm gonna have to go. I mean, 11 o'clock, but I
Okay.
want to say I think I have an understanding of future projects. I want to make certain I have a deliverable that
Mhm.
sets the stage for where we're going here. And Tamisha
Okay.
knows the timeline that I'm working with, and I think you all understand
and
now
my
the
timeline, because I got
students.
a timeline to come in and be able to help you with it. And yeah. So
Yeah,
it's
so I need to, we need to, and this is fine because I think we can revise the plan. That's all it is. Really, really quickly. But I want to make certain that it's something that is not going to, and I'm gonna use the word intimidate the students so much to where they're like, no, I don't want to do this now. Like I need to keep the group that I have. And I
Mhm.
think I can keep the group that I have with giving you a sample of what we can do right now. And then if we continue this relationship through Ripen, not through us right now, but through Ripen, then next semester I have an audience that already I know what your anticipations are. So as I'm teaching them the literature, I can focus on that. And then I can do my work in the archives and meeting the individuals who you're suggesting. Also, the thing I'm thinking is that the project that the book on Sister Cleo, I mean, that's like a great,
I wasn't even thinking about a whole book on her, just a page.
just a page, right? But
Right.
I think again, I think that would be a great project for our AFAM study students to do because they do a capstone project. Like I could see our AAAS director who is, I mean, putting boots on the ground, like, hey, let's go do this. Like, I love that type of idea because you're inspiring me. Like, let's go find these these unspoken heroes and sheroes in the Memphis culture. That's great. That's a great project for the students to do. And those students are oftentimes on ground. They're not online. So, it's about touching the archives because a lot of these things aren't digitized yet. So I'm enjoying, I love the vision because now that I have the vision, I can figure out how to make the vision work in the spaces where I am and basically refocus the type of work that I'm doing with the students in my class settings to where, okay, this is how we're focusing right now, because the way it's been taught, this is how we taught, an intro to literature course, but I wanted to be able to, and that's why I was glad when I found Tamisha, because I was looking for the right project too, was one where we could give them some real world practical application of studying the culture and of the literature. So I think that the visions and the conversations now, like this one was a little bit more aspirational than I had in mind for this particular group, because it is a very generic group. It's a general group of students. These aren't the focus students, but the 10 who are there can do I think what would be a great draft kind of overview of this is what we could do. And then we could decide how we could continue this relationship through the student side of it, outside of, me working with you all offline or thinking about other courses and courses that could do, if that makes sense what I'm saying.
So I would love a part 2 of this to
Yes.
talk about the other.
Oh, yes,
items, the
definitely.
books and then does bringing it down to 8 pages
I think that's definitely much
make it
more
much more
doable.
doable to
Yes,
takes
8
pressure off
pages.
of you
Yes.
to with the 10 students in 8 pages, because there's design, there's writing, there's all that to make that.
I think that is
Uh,
much more, I think that would give us a good draft version. That's the way I'm looking at this, a good draft version that we can give you all that deliverable. It gives me something to grade them on. And then we can go and figure out how we expand that if we continue this relationship, into the spring.
Do you think we could that we could have a coloring book by January?
Mhm.
Well, the semester with this group that's going to be with me is going to end December 10th. So I will have their document, I'll have their deliverable. And at that point, it's the work that the students have done for the class, which is part of the ripen commitment. And then at that point, I guess Tamisha, I'll turn it over to you all, then y'all can finish the final editing or whatever. We are basically doing, the work, the form, doing the initial work and then the final formatting, editing. So that's my plan, to give you at least one of these, if not two, that then you can complete the editorial process and you would have your
We
work.
want
That's
the
the way
Oddity
I
Wells
understand
too.
it.
We want the Oddity Wells as well. We want that one as well. We want two.
I think I
get-
think the Ida B. Wells one is definitely doable because again, it's here. Tamisha and I are very excited about that. So those are the two that I feel comfortable being able to say that we can walk them through that will not intimidate the group. Because I don't want them, because again, you have to realize that because it is a gen ed class and because I am a state institution, if the students decide to say, well, I don't want to do this at this point, I do
Right.
have to, I have to let them do that, because then it's going to become a matter that goes to the dean.
And you've already said she looked up Ripen, understood, you knew more about you. So you're already dealing with that factor too. I get it. I get
Yeah,
it.
like I got a lot of, right now, it's like, let me capture the group who's there and make sure they could do what I promised Tamisha, or that we talked about doing. I don't
Now,
want
does this,
anybody to run for the hills.
I know you gotta go.
Uh-huh.
Does this include, when you say the deliverables, does this include the art, or is this the text?
Well, I
Oh,
think what Tamisha was saying, how they could use like AI for design. So she's going to teach the students how to do those kind of things. So we're looking, that's what I said, deliver like a draft in progress of an actual coloring book.
And we could go to a printer.
Yes.
Actually, okay.
Yes. That's my part.
That's Tamisha's
That's what
part,
I
yes.
do. I do. She pre-prepped them. I come in and do this, and then we'll get the file. And I just want her to meet you so she can understand your vision more clearly.
Yes,
And get it. And we start working on something that also delivers. Because when I told Shafia one presentation, she was like, "What? Not the whole series." I'm like, "Well, we have to make sure we got to be able to do it within her framework of what she's teaching within the literature piece."
Yeah.
So now that you've met each other, what she's going to do is her curriculum, she's going to kind of align it to what she sees your vision as.
Yes, I did. Yeah. So now I have a better understanding. But I think for this semester, I think it's been a great introduction to figure out how we could do this. So what we will give you all is we will have those two by
Okay.
hook or crook, and it's a draft. And then Tamisha could say, well, you know what? I don't want to work with LaDrika anymore, because
I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say that.
But I mean,
I'm not saying that.
but I'm just saying, that's what I feel comfortable with in this time period for the students to do. And I want them to enjoy it too. Not to feel, because that was one of the concerns the university has about ripening is, I mean, and just like we said, the deliverable, right? We have some faculty pushing back. They're like, well, who owns the document? Or who owns the deliverables but the students? And we're like, well, they're working as interns, quote unquote, for the company. So you have some people who won't participate because they're like, oh, so we're using student labor for a product that they don't get credit for. And that's not what you all are doing. I'm like, the credit is they're getting a grade. So that's why I had to make it optional, because they don't have to pursue their grade this way.
That's right.
But I wanted them to see how the work that they're doing is pragmatic, because that's the other thing, making sure students understand now they're not just learning for the sake of learning, they're learning so that they can have a holistic understanding. And I thought that the AFAM Lit opportunity would definitely do that, because you oftentimes don't have us in these spheres in this way. So now we have a better, I think, understanding all around of what we can do with Communiversity and for Communiversity as a collaboration. But what I want to do is make certain this semester for both Tamisha, the promise I made for you, and Ripen is trying to keep us, and then for the students is to create, because I'm learning. Remember, I'm learning this too. So I'm right there. I'm a student right along with them. And what I feel that isn't going to be too daunting are the two works that I've already spoken to them through the literature, through the things they're reading. And that is, they're familiar with Wells and they're familiar with the sanitation workers and King. So I think that gives us an opportunity. And then, if we don't like what's in the page, it's okay. That's the purpose of the document. You can excise it, Tanisha, and say, no, we're just going to do this. We only.
No, I don't. What I used to do is I go back in and clean it up based upon whatever they do.
Exactly.
And I come in and clean it up and hand it over to the client and say, okay, this, because usually students get about 70% right. And then I come in and make it.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
That's
what I thought.
And so what we're doing with this process is with Ripen, the Canadian students have to do this because they have, Canada has I think a mandate for students to get hand-on experience before they leave college. So they're probably not getting any pushback. But with I'm introducing a IP with Shafia that says, hey, this is 3 spaces that are being collaborated with here, and we want to be able to compensate the students for their work. Not all universities, but and then be able to do scholarships, because we feel like that's what's right. And then not only that, the way the universities are helping with us. So we're also looking at that on our end too. Those IPs are in the back office, and Shafia is gone to a lawyer to see exactly what that looks like. So we're figuring it all out, but it's only fair to be able to come in and compliment the university, because a lot of universities are even helping us raise money. So we want to
see. I mean, we're not. We haven't gotten that point yet, right? We're just still building our relationship. I just want them to have some Ripen opportunity. That's all.
So, what is the answer to the question about who owns? Because that is a,
Ripen says we own.
Community.
Y'all own. That's the understanding that we have, that you all own it. Yeah.
Ripen owns it.
No, we do.
You will.
The TMT Youth Community Foundation owns the product. I do.
Yeah, you will.
You have an IP that says. Now you have an IP that says you own it, but now you have to give TMT compensation for finding you the universities. So that's what your IP says.
Yeah. University of Memphis has no claim on this. My students have no claim on this. The students are getting it for academic credit right now.
But when absolutely give them credit, at least written credit for who helped develop, because they should at least have that.
Well, yeah, I mean, you all get to do all of that, but for my students, it's like it's taking the place of their final exam and their final project.
Right.
That's what it is.
Right, and that's how it's been done. It's been done forever.
That's how it's been done.
Yeah, I gotta slow both of y'all two down, because y'all be talking a mile a minute, and I gotta. And I'm already talking with this one at to sell her slow down. Now I got 2 of y'all. Okay.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let you two finish talking, because I need to get on at 11 o'clock. Let's talk.
We're gonna do this part 2.
Yes.
Part 2.
Yes.
Second semester.
All right, Tamisha, but
we got to do that before that, so we can plan
for tomorrow.
So we can plan.
Yes.
Gotcha.
All right. Have a good trip.
All right.
All right. Bye, you all.
Take care.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's see.
So Shafi, you got you.
I love her.
Not bringing you into no more meetings.
Yes, you are.
No, you got to understand. Look, hold on. Let me cut this recording off.
Yeah, turn it off.